Good morning, I'm Lynn, and welcome to another day at Ewetopia Farms. Another dark, dreary day at Ewetopia Farms. In the winter, you wonder when you'll ever get to see sunshine again. I don't know, I think these dark days really do bring you down. So let's get into the barn and see if that will brighten things up a bit. Well, they all went on today, but the big guy, he finished his bottle before everyone else. Instead of putting water out for these guys, I'm gonna send these guys into the family pen right away. Come on, you guys, follow your mom. Follow your mom. There she is. She's gone up there. There, you heard that little nicker. She kind of called them in there finally. Slowly turn around, Mom. That's it. Another one joins the group. I thought I'd talk about these lambs that are in the waiting pen right now. So the reason we have this waiting pen is because this sheep and her lambs are the next that will be joining the family group. But the family group is pretty crowded right now, and we just put another one in there. So to make the transition a little easier, I let the family group calm down and let everyone there get used to each other. I put these guys in this bigger pen so they can get used to running around, not being so confined with their mom. And they can also see into the family group that they're going into. So it's kind of like just a little transition pen. They usually only spend a few hours to a day at most in this pen. So anyway, these two are the two that were having a really hard time nursing off Mom because Mom had really long engorged nipples. As you can see, I'm standing here talking, and they're not jumping and screaming all over me right now because they've finally figured it out. So I thought I'd let you see what her udder looks like now. Her nipples are still a little long, but most people wouldn't notice it. They're fairly normal now. She doesn't have a big hang bag or anything like that. I guess you can't see it from this angle, but everything is pretty normal looking on her udder. You might want the nipples a little shorter, but right now any lamb could suck off them no problem. But when she first had the lambs, she had a lot of milk, and some ewes take a day or so to come to their milk, and others are just overflowing right from the start. And personally, I prefer them to be overflowing at the start. But sometimes when they've got so much, the pressure takes it from the udder and actually fills up the nipples as well, and the nipples get engorged and stretched to the point where if she has a little lamb, it may not even be able to latch on. They're so full up. So there are several ways to deal with that. What we do is we usually milk the nipple out and try feed that milk from the mom to the lambs through a bottle or through tube feeding. We usually start with tube feeding because sometimes they can get confused with bottles and then don't want to nurse at all, because it's easier to suck off a bottle than it is to suck off a ewe's nipple. So they can easily be switched over. But these guys, after a day of tubing, I didn't like to do that anymore. And I was still milking her out. So what I did was I did switch to the bottle. And these little guys are smart in that they really found the bottle was really easy. And I could see immediately that these guys were looking to me as mom more than mom as mom. So one night we just bit the bullet and we wouldn't feed them a bottle anymore. And we kept putting them on the nipple. And eventually they were hungry enough, not starving, because if you let them get starving, then they can actually get weak, and then they're going to lose all motivation to nurse. So it's a balancing act. You want them to be hungry, but not starving. So we kept putting them on the nipple. I think I showed you that in some of my videos. And at first, when I took my hand off them when they were sucking the nipple, they'd turn around and quickly turn to me like, okay, I did that, now where's the bottle? But I persevered and kept putting them on, and now they are nursing totally off mom, so they're the next two into this pen. Some people would cull ewes who had bigger nipples, but as you can see, her nipples aren't too bad now. She had lots of milk. She has really nice lambs. I'm thinking I'm going to keep her because her udder's a nice size and everything too. But if you had a really huge flock and have no time to spend with a ewe like that, I can see why people would cull it. But if you have a small flock and a really good ewe and don't mind putting in, it's only a few days usually before it works itself out. So these lambs are out a bit later than the others. Like they were in the jug for, well, I see that they're 176 and we're putting 180s in the 80s out. So they were only in like a couple of days longer. So it didn't take that much longer, but when you're working with them and trying to train them, it feels like you're working for days and days on end, but it really wasn't that bad. And it would be easy to give up and just keep them on a bottle, but I don't want that. I want them out with their mom, and these guys are ready. These guys are going to go out today. I'm pretty confident because her udder is nice and soft, the nipples have deflated, and the lambs aren't jumping all over me, that these guys are nursing on their own and there are no more problems. So that's how we do it. It's not how other people would do it. And on the topic of milk, somebody asked me how much milk to feed a bottle baby. So I'm at the Coverall now. We got some hay waiting to be fed here in the feeder. And I see he's got a bale of straw here, so we're going to be putting straw down as well. But right now I got my bottles. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the bottle feeding as well right now. We have one Suffolk that always hops over when I bring the bottles to drink off the Dorset pen. But basically these guys are down in the coveralls to one feeding a day. And each bottle holds 400 mils of milk. And that's what they're getting now. And they're almost 2 months old. Basically, most of the lambs we have here will drink about 350 mils to 400 mils a feeding once they're well established. You start off a lot lower. I would say they would drink between 200 and 250 mils or a cup of milk per feeding, and you'd be feeding it more frequently when they're in that first month. You're going to start off in the first week 4 times a day, then you're going to go to we do 3 times a day for the first month, 2 times a day for the second month, and we get it down to once for the third month, and then they get cut off. I would say that how much you feed depends on a couple of factors. 1, the age of the lambs, and 2, the size of the lambs. And if they're getting just topped up, like most of ours are just top-ups, or if they're full-time on a bottle. So because we're feeding manually by hand, not on a machine, we do have to set up schedules for feeding like this. If they're on a machine, then obviously they're going to suck as they need it. But how I decide when to cut them back on their feed is when I put these bottles out here. When I was doing it twice a day, I found that instead of them coming and drinking it all, they were drinking some, coming and playing with me, jumping on me, leaving the milk, and I was having to throw milk away. Milk is very expensive, so I don't want to do that. So that's when I cut them back. And now they finish all the milk. And that's what I do for each and every level. What else can I say about it? Yeah, so it's not a one size fits all. It depends on the condition of your lambs, the size of your lambs, the age of your lambs. I don't push them. If a young lamb only takes 200 mils of milk, that's okay, because maybe it's a smaller lamb and that's all it can handle. You don't want it to bloat up, so I'd rather have a little bit less for them so that they don't bloat than too much. Because I read the bottles and the bags, and I see it, the older ages, they're saying 700 mils of feeding. I would never do that. Like, for one thing, I don't see that a lamb could even do it. None of our sheep could drink that much, even the piggiest of the pigs. But you'll know if they've had too much, because at their next feeding, they may not want any, or they may just sip and then walk away. So you know that they're still full and probably had too much, so then I would cut them back. So as with everything, it's always a monitoring and seeing how they're doing and what works for the sheep. Very careful coming in here because of all the lambs, but if we move slowly like that, they do get out of his way, and usually I'm here to scoot anyone that is in the way out. Hey buddies. Okay, let's go. Come on, you guys. Come on. Come on. This time I'm walking ahead of the bale so he can roll it out without them getting in the way. Come on, you guys. Move out of the way. Come on, get in. Coming through. Coming through, buddies. There we go, coming through. Make way, make way. Come on. Come on, Bell. There we go. That's the following. Make way, guys. Come on. Coming back. Make way, you guys! It's a spot.
It's a fault.
It's a spot. It's a beauty mark.
It's a fault.
It's a beauty mark.
Really?
Woo! And the way we feed our bottles is also the way we feed our creep feed. We start off with small amounts out there, and as the lambs clean it up, we start increasing the amounts. And if they don't clean it up in one day, we decrease it, because we want to keep it always fresh and clean, especially when you have rats running around the barn at night. And this is why the little traps don't work for us, because we have troughs like this over all our barns. Why would you go in a hole, which rats are pretty smart? It's a trap when you go in a hole, when there's feed free choice all over the barn. So that's why farmers have problems with rodents, because it's a free-for-all. But it does seem to be getting a little more under control these days. But our creep ration is a mixture of our own roasted soybeans, cracked corn, and our own barley. Looks like that. And then they have free choice hay all the time. We don't believe in troughs being empty. Sheep are grazers, which means they need to go at it little by little all day long. They don't gorge out that way. They behave more naturally, actually, because they're gonna kind of go at it as they need it, rest, go for more. When you put it out only at certain times and let the troughs go empty, then when you do feed, it's a mad rush to get the food, and that's when you get gorging. And right now you can see that this area of the trough is the same hay as the ewes are getting, but there's a gate up so that the lambs can eat in private over here on both sides. And this is a nice alfalfa grass second cut wrapped hay mixture. What did you say? What did you say?
What did I say?
I thought you said something.
I said I wanted the government job.
Go get one. No one's... Yeah. Arnie can't stand grabbing one, eh? Who is it? What number?
Number 5.
Number 5?
Yeah, that's what a Dorset should look like.
Whoa, he's a big boy. Bring him over here.
I don't think he likes this one.
He looks like he's loving it. He's just a little cuddle bug. Like. Hi, baby. Look, he's got his alfalfa in his mouth. He was trying to eat, Arnie.
Nice and hyper.
I gotta go get the bottles for the Suffocks. At what? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So we got some screamers in the Suffolk pen because I haven't fed their bottles yet. So I'll go get those and we'll come back. Today's a little warmer day. Warmer days on the farm means mud everywhere. These are our daily working conditions, but it's not over yet. We got freezing temperatures coming again. Okay, this barn is all fed and bedded now. It's quieted down. Some are eating, some are playing, some are resting, drinking. They're all set for the day. Someone asked about our big string bean in here yesterday, if he was a single or a twin. Well, here's his sister. Not you, the one in the middle there. Hi, sweetheart. The blacker one, not the blue one. Not you. Hi, how you doing, sweetheart? There you are. It's amazing how brothers and sisters tend to look alike. Not always, but she is very obviously sister to that tall guy yesterday. He's in here somewhere. Must be under the feeder because I don't see him. How's it going, buddy? Well, I guess we got what we wished for. The sun is poking out this evening as I head back to the house. Thanks for watching, and tomorrow we're going to be setting up a new pen in the other coverall for the Dorset group. So hope you'll join us tomorrow for that. Until then, bye for now.